All right, welcome one and all to the PPC Unfiltered podcast, where you get unfiltered insights and practical tips you can utilize from two people that actually do this stuff, that actually manage accounts, work with clients, etc. Michael Nadalin is my co-host somewhere in the screen. Michael, how are you, sir?
Mate, I'm good. We haven't done this for 2 weeks because I've been on holiday, but I'm back and I'm refreshed. How are you going, mate?
Very good. Same. I took kind of like a semi week off. It's hard as a business owner to take a full week off. Obviously, I was still checking in my accounts. I got a million automations my clients know all about to check on any anomalies, but it's been good. I feel refreshed as well. So excited
man.
going into November here.
Awesome. Well, let's start this amazing podcast today. We're in November, coming to the end of the year. Good old Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that chaos as well. So we can actually start this podcast today talking about that type of stuff.
All right,
But
let's
first,
start with chaos. Go ahead.
Oh, do you want to, we'll talk about the thing I was talking about earlier?
Yes,
or do you want to
please.
talk about the... Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, friends and family and compadres and enemies. I don't have many enemies, but I'm sure there'll be one watching in someday. So over the last few months, we've at Market Lead had massive success in the agency. And it's come from two things. Number one, dropping lower quality clients. And then number two, onboarding higher quality clients. Now, that sounds very like, oh, everyone could do that and everyone should do that, but it's the actual act of doing it. So there's two sides to it. Number one, if you're working with like lower quality clients, being it like it's really hard to get results for them, they're constantly emailing you. It's just kind of like chaos. That's going to constantly bring the energy and the attitude of your agency down. It'll also bring the self-esteem of the specialist, you and everyone down, and it'll kind of make you think that the industry is like really hard. Most businesses are horrible. Business owners are bad, blah, blah, blah. The easiest way is just to take that out of your reality bubble and just get rid of those clients. Now, a lot of people who'd be watching these podcasts are probably at the beginner or intermediate stage, because most advanced people are just like raking in cash and just doing the work. And I know that myself because I don't watch any Google ads or advertising podcasts or content anymore, because we're just doing ads, getting results and making money. But the thing I've noticed really recently was it's really important to work with clients, and in clients who are either big companies who are making a lot of money, or their average product or service value is really high. There's a high ticket value. The reason why is because if they start working with you and they haven't done much advertising in the past, you just doing a good enough job will get outsized returns. Because if they're selling something for $10, $50, $100,000, if you just get a few leads for them, that is a massive ROI for them immediately. Versus if you're working with a client who sells something for like $100 or $300 or $400, no matter the results you get, you're always going to be like, no matter how amazing you are at that, you're still going to be playing a losing game because of the economics in the business. We've found recently that just by deciding to work with companies that have a high ticket product or service, it is so much easier to get results because there's actually less competition in the market. There's more competition for people selling services for $100 to $500 than people selling services from $10,000 to $100,000. So there's less competition. Number two, most of the time these businesses haven't done marketing in the past. So it's easy to get amazing results because a lot of them have, a bit of history to their business. They're not just like a new business that's popped up. Number three, the ROI is almost immediate because a lot of products that are about $10,000 plus are legitimate products that people do need. It could be like machinery, it could be like infrastructure, it could be housing, things that people need that it's a real investment. And number four is a lot of these companies, they are so used to just traditional ways of business and marketing that by just running some ads and getting these results, you blow their mind. Their expectations were never high, but you've blown we've onboarded multiple clients recently who are high ticket that we've just been able to kill it for immediately. And it just feels like I'm in God mode in business. And the reason I say this is just because it's like those businesses are out there, they're everywhere. The challenge is if you're always surrounding yourself with these lower quality businesses who kind of come to you, they're in real dire straits and they're kind of not good, you're just going to think that's the market. You don't think you're good enough. And then there's kind of like this downward reality bubble spiral. What are your
Now,
thoughts, Cory?
how do you guys deal and contend with the problem of low conversion volume, right? In this day and age where everything is driven by automation and AI, and those things are very data hungry, right? They need a lot of data to do very well in
Yep.
most cases. How do you guys contend with that in these types of high ticket, usually low conversion volume accounts?
Oh, it's interesting. I don't think they're low conversion. I just think the low conversion comes from the strategy. So there's always ways to get a high volume of clients. So for example, and I'll tell you the solution, but I'll give you the example first. We just onboarded a client that I took 10 months to get. Now they came as a lead from one of my YouTube videos, and I just thought they were like a fire client. And it took 10 months of me just kind of going back and forth to get them on. Now, 90 days before they started working with us, they'd only had 50 leads from Google Ads. 50 leads from Google Ads for about $400 a lead, 1%, less than 1% conversion rate, and most of them was spam. So those are the numbers in the 90 days beforehand. Within the first month, because their first month ended on the 4th of November, they had 200 leads, so 4 times the leads. Cost per lead went from $400 down to $25, and the conversion rate went from 1% to over 20%. So
Yep.
same product, same business, different person running the ads. Now, the way we did that was just like they were just running Google Ads to their website. And it's like, cool. But what we did is like what I call like either like the holy trinity of advertising or like the magical quadrant, which is the holy trinity is Google Ads, Meta Ads, and a landing page. And then the quadrant part would be the same, but with like a lot of data analysis to it. So we do a lot of data analysis because so what we did, and in this case, they weren't running Meta Ads. They're getting a high volume of qualified B2B, like really high qualified. Like it's crazy because we use qualification questions and a landing page. So then the conversion rate goes up from like 1% to 20%. And then with all the data analysis as well, feeding that data back into the ad account, that's how you do it. Like it's just not a Google Ads thing anymore. I think it's really dangerous for a lot of people just to think that Google Ads is like the magical bullet or the messiah solution. You've got to be thinking bigger now. And every of these clients that we do that, like these clients that we're killing it for, it's not Google Ads anymore. It's Google, like it's in that matrix that I just mentioned then.
Yeah, it's a bundled approach to marketing, right? You're not
Yeah.
just coming at it. Now, some advertisers have issues, problems being able to profitably advertise on multiple channels.
Yeah.
That's understandable. In some cases, Google Ads is really the only thing they can profitably
Yeah.
work in, and they've tried it, and it just is what it is. So there's going to be some exceptions, but yep, I can't agree more. You've got to come at this. A consumer is going to bounce around to different places. You don't want to
Yeah.
lose them in that interaction to competition or just their own behaviors.
I agree with you, mate. I would also challenge you in the most positive way to acknowledge your and my skill, which is
Yeah,
when clients say like, oh, or they might go, Google Ads is the only profitable channel. That may be because they've got someone like you or me running it. See,
right.
we've worked on meta accounts that, look, I don't position myself or my agency as a meta agency, but people come to us for Google Ads and we give them the full suite of what they need because they come for Google Ads. We give them lead generation or sales. But look, I've done Meta Ads for 5 years. I did it at my last agency. I don't put content out there. I don't claim to be an expert. Like I see all these psychopaths online saying like, do this stuff with Meta. And then I just do like a very, very like laser pointed approach with lead generation for Facebook or Meta and get amazing results. And we've taken over accounts from people who are expert agencies. And I just realized it's not that the channels don't work. It's the people who are working the channels are not good. It's like, it's
Mhm.
actually this like that simple.
Yeah, sometimes, right? I'll disagree a little bit on that because I mean, some of the times you could be awesome and it just doesn't work. There's no market fit. The audience just isn't there.
Yeah.
The competition's just too steep for your margins. Whatever. There's gonna be times where even though you're a badass, and this is for those people that have like, yeah, man, we try Facebook and we've tried everything. We're data scientists. We've done it. and they just
Yeah.
can't get it to work. So it might not be on you necessarily in your skill set. Sometimes no matter what you do, that product or that service just isn't working with that channel, and that's okay.
Mm.
TikTok's a great example, though there is rising ad revenue there. More people are trying it, more brands are willing to try TikTok and invest there. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you and your demographic
Yeah,
and whatever.
definitely.
So, take what
I
it
was
is.
mainly talking about the Facebook side when people come to us saying Facebook doesn't work. Or Google. There's been so many times people come to us and they've got good businesses, like really good businesses. And for some reason, they're hesitant about Google ads, but they still wanted to do it. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, you've worked with all these agencies. Well, like, I feel like they're looking for that next like 1%. And then we just like restructure it. And then everything's like set and forget. Like, don't touch it again for years. And it's just like raking in cash. Like,
Mm.
sometimes, Corey, I just think it's when you've been doing something for so long, it becomes normalized like breathing. And then you forget that it's not normal for other people to operate at this level or think at this level, have strategy at this level. And it's like, yeah, I just find it's an interesting thing that when you've done something for so long and you're so good at it, sometimes you lower your thinking of how good you are, but then you kind of take on a new account again. Like you take a new account, you do one or two changes, everything blows up immediately, and you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
have the Midas touch.
Well, I will say, luckily, I do enough consulting to be able to see other people's work, and I just like, I'm not trying to, shit on this person's work,
Yeah,
but have they given you reasoning as to this strategy or this structure, or what were they thinking here? And the client has no idea,
yeah,
or the reasoning just makes no sense because you and I have done this long enough to recognize illogical thinking, and
yeah,
they haven't done the data analysis. The person managing the accounts just focused on the wrong things, where they're
yeah,
focused just elsewhere. So, yeah, I agree. I will say too, just to add to, to kind of wrap this up, and finding the higher ticket clients out there that, in terms of the product prices, their service pricing. One of the nice things I find with those types of clients is they tend to know their audience and they tend to know their market better than others
yes,
because they knew getting into this, this is going to be a smaller audience. They're not selling water, right? They understand this is expensive. There's going to be a big chunk of demographics that might not even, like, let's say it's 18 to 24 that might never want to afford this or whatever it is. And they understand going into it, it's a smaller marketplace, but they also might be aware that the competition's not so steep. Therefore, that's why they started the business in the first place. So
mm,
I tend to find that you get this nice match where they're very well informed, or at least they think they are, as to what the marketplace looks like and who their audience is. Now, sometimes we need to shake that tree a little bit,
yeah,
because it's not always what they thought it was, and we can get a market research firm included in that process and say who is really the core audience. Now that we have some data, we can run some surveys, etc. But yeah, that's also an extra added benefit to working with clients like that too.
yeah. The only downside, and this is just the downside to it, is a lot of these businesses have traditionally been got their clientele from referral, and it's been a low volume base. So when you have
Mm.
like referral, it's naturally a higher probability of sale because it's been like, hey, someone's told you about this when you're looking for it, you're in that buying intent. And then number two, the volume's low, so you can actually manage the leads. One of the biggest issues that we see with these clients is if they don't have a sales team or a sales process, they get that high volume of leads. And these people aren't like burning hot. They're like warm. They're interested. They're like literally proactively looking, but they're not like, I'm starving here. So
Mm.
that buying intent's lower. So they've got to figure out a way to push it higher. And also that
Yep.
volume's high. Like they've got to figure out how do they address 200 leads in a month when they're probably getting like 10 leads a month, and
Mm-hmm.
changing the systems. And that's a big gap for them where they start getting the high quality leads. They say the quality is good, they're quoting them, but they just can't turn them into sales because they don't have the sales process down.
Yes,
So,
and if you're going to start working with clients like that, know that getting into it is particularly for lead gen, but even for ecom, where there's a high touch necessity for sales, where someone's going to have to contact them. Like, you're not selling that $10,000 product on the site, for example. They're still going to have to contact sales. So essentially, it's kind of lead gen, ecom, whatever.
yeah,
Expect going into that, if you want to work with those types of clients, you're going to have to be good with kind of business 101, communication with the client, communication potentially with their sales team, and checking in on that stuff,
yeah,
because now your results are a lot more reliant than you might like on the sales team. If that sales team
Yeah,
can't support, Michael, you know this already. We talk about this all the
I know,
time.
mate.
If they can't support it, you could be driving quality stuff and they can't see it, at least internally. So, yep.
Yeah, I've got a call in, I think, an hour and a half about that. And it's like every call is just about their sales. They're like, oh, but the ads aren't working. I'm like, bro, like you're quoting these people and you're telling me they're good. This is not an ads issue. It's your sales process. But that's the thing. And this is where even as just an individual, you get a huge professional development because you start to realize you move into like that business consultant role and you make way more money by helping businesses with this stuff, consulting as well as doing the ads than just being the ad person. Like they can just get an ad person on Upwork. That's not where the value is anymore. It's the ads plus the insights and the recommendations and the next steps and then understanding how it fits in with the business. And I just don't think people still don't get that yet. That's why most people, when you watch Google Ads videos or videos online, they're talking about the technical. The technical is like the first 40%. But even if you're at 100% of that 40%, you're still at 40%. The next 60% is business intelligence, insight, data analysis, knowing how it fits into the business, consulting with the business. That's where you actually make a lot of money.
Hmm.
Mic drop.
Good. All right. I think we have covered this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it.